Didn't have the best day today. No. It wasn't too bad. Somebody breathed. Somebody blew. Somebody did that on my neck in the elevator. Made me very uncomfortable. Context of the story, I was standing in the elevator. There was a guy behind me and he breathed on my neck. It's hard to describe that sort of sensation, especially when it's so unexpected and unwanted, unpleasant, unfortunate, interesting. But to fight the Tuesday blues, I thought, what can I do? What can I do that I enjoy? I enjoy writing lists, and today's list is going to be kind of a mixture of a few things, but mainly my favorite words. I've had an up and down relationship with words all 21 years of my life, and I would say that these 10 are definitely my top 10. I got some honorable mentions in there. But then also, while I was thinking about this list, I stumbled across a few words. I did a bit of research just to make sure I had all of them. I found that there was some words that I didn't know, and so I wrote them down as well. And I got some definitions, so wait till the end to maybe learn a thing or two. But ultimately, today's mission is to learn a little bit about me and what I find in a word. There was a lot of criteria, and there wasn't really there was a loose structure, I would say. There wasn't really a structure. Just rattle through my honorable mentions. We've got hilltop, keepsake, Yanni. I don't want to know where I'm moving with every time I say a word. Murmur, oasis, and quarry. Those are my 6 honorable mentions. That when I was scrolling through my lists of words, the dictionary, they spoke to me a little bit, but just not enough to, lock in one of my 10 spots of my 10 favorite words. Without further ado, first on the list of my 10 favorite words was flute. Flute, because I don't have much confidence in spelling or in words in general. But I'm trying to battle that literally right now. Something that's funny about flute making the list of my top 10 favorite words is I don't think it would really be considered if we were talking about my top 10 favorite instruments. But I think on paper the word flute looks really nice, especially with some bomb-ass handwriting. That'd be enough to brighten my day for a moment. Just don't really like the sound it makes, I'll be honest. Too high-pitched. I think people look weird when they're playing them. Like, what I mean by that, obviously... No, I think it's really hard to look cool while playing the flute. I don't know, comment if you think that it's not cool to play the flute. Number 9, rustic. I like the word rustic because I feel like it matches what it is. So if you don't know what rustic is... Honestly, I don't even really know how I would explain rustic. I don't really know how to explain the word. I know what it is, believe me. Like, if I saw rustic, I could tell you. And I think the best way to describe rustic is just look at the word. Look at how it's spelled. It might be on screen right now. Look at how it's spelled. And tell me that word doesn't suit the vibe of rustic. You can't, because it does. Once again, we're starting off with the lower ones, so people bear with me. The words literally get better every word. So next word, silver. Silver was number 8 for me. Was it? Yeah, number 8. And the note I've written here is, although silver is often associated with second place, it's first place in my book, and I thought that was a sweet way to put it. Gold feels like round to me, and I'm not really messing with that. Bronze feels poor. I don't know if that's because it is third place. It might be. That's unfair, I guess. But silver, they say you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Don't they? Harvest. Harvest appropriately conveys a sense of accomplishment, and I don't think that comes just from the word and the meaning harvest. I feel a sense of accomplishment when reading harvest. And I can't explain that. I'm not going to try. I suppose that's kind of the point of the video, but I don't know. If you don't get me there, you just don't get me. That's okay. Maybe you'll get me on the next one. Maybe you've got me on one of the previous ones. It makes the word, read it, bro. Fucking hell. Wobble. This one I really liked. It wasn't one so much when I read it that I felt good. It was more when I said it. Wobble. It does something in there. It almost changes my voice, I feel. I'm not crazy. Wobble. I feel like I say that word differently to how I say other words. Wobble. Wobble. I'm probably just saying it too many times now. But I wrote down a feeling of blissful discomfort. Saying that out loud, it sounded a bit more sexual than what I thought it might. But that's not how I feel about wobble. Feel pretty positive though overall. Number 5, I feel like might be one of my more controversial ones. Hiccups. Chickenpox. I wish that was hiccups, because I'd feel a lot better about having hiccups. Hiccups are more of a nuisance, and so they couldn't really be pushed above 5. But I do like the way I like the word. I like that you more often use the plural of hiccups instead of hiccup being singular. But yeah, I don't like getting them, so they don't necessarily fill me with a lot of hope. I feel like maybe that... No, but then I read it and I'm convinced again. I'm convinced again that that's where it should be. So we're going to leave it there. One more time. Scrub. It's one of the shortest words we've got on the list, other than the first few. Versatility in this one surprised me. I believe scrub can be used as a verb, an adjective, and a noun. I feel like I could call you a scrub. I feel like I could say, I'm going to scrub, meaning verb. And I feel like I could say, you look like a scrub. My favorite would be the verb, or just verbs in general. I actually spoke about this with someone the other day. I think verbs are my favorite out of the 3. I think I can explain more about... Well, you can explain very particular things with each of them. So I'd say they're all important, but verb is best. Hullabaloo. I don't know what this one means, to be honest. I feel like... But here's why I liked this one. I don't think I know what it means. But I feel like I could use it in a sentence. Isn't that crazy? I'm trying to think of a sentence now so I can prove to you guys. You know, if somebody came up to me and they were, breathing really heavily, they were rushing, trying to get out a story, I'd cut them off and give them a chance to breathe, and I'd say, don't give me the whole hullabaloo. I just need the No. I don't know. Maybe I couldn't use it in a sentence. Fun to say though. Really well written. We were talking about that before. Hullabaloo. Really well. Almost the golden standard for written words to look at. We've got repeating letters. We've got back-to-back letters. We've got back-to-back letters 2 times. I'm a big fan of those. And we've also got repeating letters with another letter in the middle. Something I love about that is it's ABA. B comes after A in the alphabet, so it looks like it makes sense. Now, bear with me. You've got H, strong capital letter. Very strong capital letter. U only appears once in the word, first vowel. And only appears once in the word, strong second letter. Then we've got back-to-back L's. They look beautiful in there. They're perfectly placed. And they don't look out of place because there is, if you can see down the back there, another L. Followed by a back-to-back O, and then we spoke about ABA. Very well written word. 10 out of 10 in that regard. Don't actually really know what it means. And then, so it kind of got bumped down a lot. And then it got bumped back up because I was like, no, I believe I could use it still. Maybe I was wrong. Whoosh. Whoosh. Just gonna go out there and blatantly say it. And I decided deliberately to only keep one of this type of word on the list. And I chose my favorite one. I'm a huge fan of words that describe sounds. A huge fan of them. I think as... Who made the English language? Oh. Can we cut that? I can't believe I just said that. Furthermore, I think in the English language we did really well to write words that describe sounds correctly. Whoosh is a perfect description of that. Once again, to break it down, WH, that is WH. OOSH, almost same, different on each side with a whoosh. That the word looks like that. Whoosh. The word it looks like the sound, sounds like the sound, is the sound. Kerfuffle. Do I actually know the definition of kerfuffle? I thought it was like conundrum, like a problem. That's my guess. A commotion or fuss. Oh, especially caused by conflicting views. Oh. How did I end up speaking to the wrong side of my microphone? Come on, man. I'm better than that. Oh, okay. So it's like a political disagreement. It would be a kerfuffle. Right. And that's my favorite word, I guess. Argue about that. I thought it was more problem rather than disagreement, if I'm being honest. And I will be. I thought it was problem. And I was going to say something really inspirational about embracing your problems. Not letting them control you or control your decisions. But now, I guess, embrace disagreement with other people is also inspiring. I don't know. Half an hour time zones, I don't know if I agree with them, honestly. I don't get how... Well, I do get like how that could work, because obviously it just would, and it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if we should have them though. I think we should... It's like rounding, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter if you're half an hour in front of me or behind me. You know, that's one thing. Somewhere in the world, the day-night cycle is completely different anyway. You know, you might, in winter, only experience like 3 hours of sunlight. In which case, what, you know, if the sun's going down at 3 p.m, who's to say I can't call that like 7:30 or 8? Because we don't work in half an hour time zones, by the way. If the sun's going down at 3 o'clock, I'm probably just going to call that 8 o'clock. Have some dinner, get ready for bed. Do it all again tomorrow. Alright, moving on to some of the words that I didn't know. I'm going to be honest, they're on the same piece of paper and I've been looking at them. I've been trying not to, nonetheless, but I have been sneaking a look at them, at all these words, while I've been sitting here chatting. And I'm a bit unsure. Just with the first one was ember glow, which the soft glowing light of embers in a fire. I feel like I could have guessed that. And I feel like I knew that. So I'm a little disappointed I wrote that one down. Magnanimous. Magnanimous, that's what it is. Magnanimous. Magnanimous is very generous, kind, or forgiving, especially towards someone less powerful after a conflict. So, I was very magnanimous to the guy I had a conflict with and was taller than. Meaning I was very kind to this man and I was more powerful than him. That works. Vociferous, expressing opinions or feelings loudly and forcibly, clamorous. That's the worst. That's the worst, when you don't know a word and a word in the description of what that word is, you also don't know. I feel like an idiot. Superfluous. More than is necessary, extra or unnecessary. This video is superfluous in length. Jubilance. I feel like I know that one. That's the state. Feeling of great happiness, joy, or triumph. I actually could have told you that. Ambrosal exceptionally pleasing to taste or smell, divine or delightful. The food of the gods in Greek mythology. What would be something that you find Ambrosel? McDonald's chicken and cheese. Or a garden. A garden wouldn't taste that good. I don't know. It depends what was in the garden. If it was fruit, then maybe. Zenith. The highest point or peak of something. The time in which something is most powerful, successful, or prominent. I am in my zenith. No, because there's better things to come. That's always the view you got to try and have, is that you've never quite peaked yet. You still got to keep. It's like Matthew McConaughey, I think, said his goal is to be alive 10 years from now.
I come back 2 weeks later, this person comes up and says, "Who's your hero?" I said, "I thought about it. You know who it is?" I said, "It's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes,
Alive and prospering 10 years from now. And to be his hero. Alright, well those were my favourite words. All 10 of them. I hope you all learnt a thing or two, if not about English literature. I hope you all learnt a thing or two, if not about English. I hope you all learnt a thing or two, if not about English literature. That's gonna have to do. I took 3 takes to try to say that. I can't say English literature. English literature. Whoa. We should have been talking about this the whole time. I can't say a whole ass a freaking word that I know. English literature. English literature. 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 That sounds better. Slow is better. Literature. Let's speed it up. Literature. I hope you all learnt a thing or two today. If not about English literature, then about me.